Hi, Brandy. You asked me to show you how I got the number in the parentheses right here. So let's go all the way back to the formula. I'm assuming that you agreed with how I put the numbers in up here and how I got the exponent. Let me pull up the calculator on the computer here. Make sure it's a scientific one. So to get that exponent, it was 360 days, which is daily compounding that we use according to the banker's rule in times 5 years. So the exponent is 1800. Okay, so inside the parentheses, and again, if you know how to do this part, I apologize. I'm just not sure where you got stuck. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, inside the parentheses, I'm going to take the 0.08 and I'm going to divide. From this point now, I can do the whole rest of the problem without writing anything down. So once I get the exponent simplified, the next steps I'm going to continue all the way through on my calculator. So there shouldn't be any rounding off in the middle. So I'm going to take 0.08 and I'm going to divide by the 360 for the daily compounding. And then I'm going to go ahead and add that to 1. Okay, so now I've got the number in the parentheses. Now I'm going to raise it to that power I had of 1800 on this little scientific calculator on the, this is a Windows computer. This is the exponent key right here. So I'm going to push that key in and then I'm going to put in the 1800. And so there's where I got the 149, 1.49175. 8, I'd used a little different calculator, but it rounded off over here to the decimal place. You don't need all these decimals. And then the final thing I did was multiply by the $5,000. And again, there's my answer, $7,458.79, which is what I wrote down here. And if you notice, I never had to stop. Once the first thing I did was simplify the exponent, get that number, and then from this point forward, everything I just did in one series of calculations on the calculator without writing anything down until I got the final answer. So I hope this helps. If you try not to round off in the middle, it really helps your life without rounding off. The other thing I should mention, I don't know what kind of calculator you have, but this calculator has a memory in it. And so in the next section, when we get into simplifying numerators and denominators and then dividing them, you might want to use memory functions. So this calculator, for instance, if I wanted to put this number, for instance, into the memory and then call it up later, let's say I wanted to put this number in memory and then divide by 2, for instance. So I push here memory store, and stored that number in memory. Now, let's say I wanted to, I'm going to clear this now. Let's say I wanted to take that number again now, memory recall, and I wanted to divide it by 2, for instance. And therefore, I didn't have to write that number down and then put it back into the calculator where I could make a mistake when I was entering it back in. So I don't know which calculator you have, but you might want to take a look at it and see if it's got places for you to store numbers for intermediate calculations. By doing that, you're less likely to have round off error at the end, because it sounds like you're getting a little round off error at the end of your problems. So hopefully this will help you as you're working on the problems, because you're going to be using your calculator for the formulas in 10.3 to 10.6, and you're going to have to be able to do it as many times as you don't have to stop in the middle. It's going to lead you to get a correct answer, more likely get a correct answer at the end. So I hope this helps.